Hello, this is Abdaal Ruhaani and I'm founder and CEO of PakistanTrainings.com. And right in the middle of story, we are here to exploit a server and we are going to find some kind of vulnerability in the wild. Okay, so uh, right just away from your eyes, going to be in the right middle corner or left? Yeah, I think in the right. Okay, so so let me tell the whole context of the game. And that game is about to exploit a server. Okay, believe me, this string is very, to be honest, uh, learning cybersecurity is fun. Yeah. So right now we are going to exploit a server, and that is Exim server. Okay, and that Exim server is basically a server for it is the server for the email, and that server is integrated into the cPanel. And the cPanel, all the people know about the cPanel. What is cPanel and how does it works? So how does it work? Huh, not works. Okay. So right now we're going to study all the source code of that exploit, which we are going to for that exploit, which we are going to write, and that's a whole code of our project, and that we are going to study, and we will try to find some kind of buffer overflow, and that buffer overflow will be converted into a simple what we call it, RCE, remote code execution. Okay, so uh, that's the whole game here. And now, first, what should we have to do? First, we have to download the source code, which we are going to study in our penetration testing, or as a red team or blue team. If you are a red team or blue team, it does not matter. But I think red team is more experienced than blue team. But I would like to include a yellow team here, like my yellow is in my background, or a green team. Because I'm from Pakistan and I would like to go with green teams. Okay, so here you can see all the stuff, and that is Exim server. Exim server is basically you can see all the details. This is the Exim mail transport agent development repository, and please read the following information for you wish to use or contribute to the Exim development process. This is to prevent your or our type being unnecessarily wasteful. Okay, that's fine. And here I can find another bug tracking section. Currently, this is all done by using Bugzilla at bugs.exim.org. And please do not use GitHub issue tracking. Okay, that's all. If we find some kind of vulnerability in that exploit and in that server, so we are going to report that bug in here. Okay, I don't know what kind of bug section they are running. Are they giving us some kind of reward or a mana amount? I think these are cheap servers. Not cheap actually. It's being used by about 3.5 million users, and this is a huge exploitation if we crack it. So Kali machine is running here. Just log in Kali. Kali, hello Kali, Kali, yeah Kali, Kali is here. It's Kali, not Kali. Kali. Okay, so that's the whole game. Now we are going to study the source code. So I just simply downloaded the whole source code of the Exim server, and that is behind my phone. Okay, so I just extract that all code and open it in a simple uh, notepad, and that notepad is my favorite is Sublime Text. Yes, I love it because Sublime Text is very nice, lightweight, and a good. You can understand. It's good for me. Okay, so what should we have to do? Let's crack it. So for the cracking of the code, fcats. Hey, leave it, not cats, simply cats. Okay, so first, all the code is written in C, and C is very famous for mother of all our vulnerabilities, and that is buffer overflow. I love to eat buffer overflow. Yes, and sometimes it is stack overflow. Sometimes it is heap overflow. But this is all buffer overflow. See, everything is overflown, and everybody likes overflows. Okay, so right now we are in the middle of story, and latest vulnerability they found in that server, and it was double free buffer overflow vulnerability. And that vulnerability was in call underscore pam.c file, and that vulnerability is actually happening here. Here it was happening. So it was doing some kind of weird stuff, and that double free vulnerability resulted in a RCE, and it was very dangerous because uh, because this is the server which will be being used for 4 million users, and every server includes at least about the half of the server will be used by the hosting providers. And if we say 20 million servers are, sorry, 2 million servers are exploitable by Axim server RCE. So every server is hosting 100 sites on their host server. So you can expect what kind of threat it is. It's a huge threat. So what they did, they simply uh, they just simply remove all the resources for that vulnerability, and its exploit was written. It's amazing. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Now what we are going to do, we are going to do first analysis of that all code, and we need to find all the sections where we can do inputs. Okay, we are going to exploit that server in public environment, and for the public environment exploitation we need some kind of inputs which could be done by public environment network. Okay, for the public network access we need all the information about the code, which which are the files those could be accessed, those functions or the files could be accessed in the authenticated section. Like, I do not authenticated my server, and I'm going to try my server and try to connect or to try to do what kind of exploitation we do. We just simply need some kind of files. Those could be accessed by publicly and those who have vulnerability. So let's find the vulnerability here, and because all the code is written in C, so we're going to find all the vulnerable function happening in C. Okay, it's serious. Okay, so so. Okay, here I search that thing. Yeah, what is buffer overflow? All the people knows about buffer overflow. Let me clear the mind of you what is actually the buffer overflow. When you compile your program in your server, so that all the compilation is done in the memory. And what happened actually, when I will compile a function, I will run an exe file in my computer. So what will happen, that exe file will be stored in the memory of my system, and that is the RAM. You know about the RAM and the ROM. Those people who are not, more people are not familiar about the ROM. Actually, ROM is called your hard disk, but the RAM is actual thing, that those with the thing which is helping you to compile a function, or to compile a code, or to or to run a full server or a program. So right here you can see simply it's a main function, and the variables program start, and the function call will be done by main, and like you wrote a C function and the function name is main, and then you run that program, the main function will be called and that function will be actually returned address. Okay. And you have a buffer. Okay. And that buffer includes heap and and second one is stack. Yeah, those includes buffer. Like buffer is a space where you where all the functions will be all the variables will be stored, and variables and functions will be stored in buffer. But if we talk about the buffer, like variables will be stored in stack, and runtime running of the program will be stored in heap. Okay. So when your compilation and runtime compilation memory allocation will be increased, so that will be heap overflow. But if you done something with variables and that variable will be overflown, so that will be stack overflow. And stackoverflow.com is very interesting for me, and it is a very amazing site. Actually, I'm talking not about the site, but I'm talking about the buffer overflow. So buffer will be buffer 10. Okay. So we have a space of 10 bytes to store any kind of string. And what happened here? And this is easy, but when you will overflow that A, so these A's will be written on the code in memory. Are you understanding me? Like there is a structure, like whenever you store your when you give it a they give it your code, and that code is for main function. Okay, that's pretty nice. And you run the function, and that function running will be called in the middle of the the upper section and below section. It will be called in the middle. And what will happen, that below, from the below of the main section, the code is compiling. Okay, machine is compiling the code, and that code will be shifted to the up of the stacks. Are you understanding me? Like when it allocated something A is equal to Pakistan training, so that string will be stored in the memory but in the top of that stack. Okay, and that stack top is included uh, by like, okay, Pakistan trainings, and that string will be stored in memory in a heap memory, like no, but in a stack memory. Okay, and that will be stored in a stack memory. And when I will store more and more and more and more and more data in the stack or heap, so that will be overflown to that return address, and that return address will be the address which we have to rewrite, and this is called EIP, instruction pointer. Okay, so we have to rewrite this EIP or RIP. RIP and EIP. This is because in the differential of the structure x86 and 64. So we have to rewrite that EIP, and when we will have the control over the EIP, so we can do RCE or any kind of the most biggest exploitation in the whole source code. So that's the whole story. I try to make you understand what is happening here and what kind of stuff is going here. So let's move on next section. So we are going to find vulnerable functions in that code. And the vulnerable functions include, that is why the safest basic method is C is to avoid the following five unsafe functions, and that can lead to a buffer overflow vulnerability. Please believe me, these five functions are not just vulnerable. Actually, all the functions in C language are roundabout vulnerable. Okay, and it is it has just a simple one function non-vulnerable and a safe function. So five unsafe functions, and that could lead to a buffer also vulnerability. Printf, as printf, string cat, string copy, and gets. Unfortunately, the basic language provides only one safe alternative fgets to be used instead of gets. Okay, so let's find. First we have to find string copy, and we will find all the string copy in our source code. Okay, let's find it. Okay, that's pretty nice. Are you getting what kind of things are happening here. It is rewriting that function, okay, for the safe mechanism, but we will exploit it, don't worry. Okay, so dummies, exim lock, and there is a lot of string copy. Hmm. But you see, okay, that's fine. Okay, string to copy, string to copy. Okay. But okay. Hmm. These are all the these are all the vulnerable, possibly vulnerable sections where they did not check all these checks. Okay, so this is all the stuff. We found some string copy. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do that simply create a new file, Control F, and here I'm going to write not string copy, but string cat. And there is a lot, I will tell you all, but there is a lot of functions. And here, now we have string cats, not just in that way, but this is the string cats usage. Okay, now what you can try for string copy. Okay, sorry, string copy. Okay, and then you can find something for memory allocation, and that function is mem_alloc. Okay, these are all the vulnerable functions we could potentially use to exploit. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, so you have to find all the functions in here, and from these functions, we will find top 20 or 30 functions which could be accessible publicly and could be exploitable. And we will then find top 5 functions could be exploitable. And then we will do top 3 functions and we'll try all these 3 functions, those 3 functions which we will find, and then we will exploit it. This is whole the story, and wait for next episode. Hey, yeah. Okay, goodbye. Take care.